Welcome to another broadcast of the Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Thursday mornings at 9:30 at the Lorain County Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and as always, you are invited to attend.
Would you all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I thought you heard what I said. I said, remember, it's not there.
Morning, everybody. I have some help for me today. This is my great nephew, Robert Sabados. We call him Bobby, and he's going to help us try to promote our dog from the dog kennel today. Is it a girl? Girl. It's a girl? Oh. You want to say how nice your little dog is?
She's very nice, and I just like her.
Yeah. Maybe you could take her home. It's Valentine's Day. You could buy her for your mom.
Yeah.
No, Mom says no. Okay, well, come on down to our dog kennel and find a pet for you. Cheap gift for Valentine's Day. What is it? How much? $30-some out the? How much? 49? 29. What a deal! $29. Make your sweetie happy this Valentine's. Bobby's shadowing me today. Do you want to tell him what school you go to?
I go to Lorain Community School Elementary. I am in 4th grade.
Very good. Again, welcome to what day is this today? February 12th, Lorain County Board of Commissioners. Our thought for the day: a wise man learns by the mistake of others, a fool by his own. And Teresa?
We have a presentation today from the Four Chaplains Ceremony, World War II American Legion Post 118 Amherst.
Thank you. I was honored. Ed Cornwell had asked me to come to the American Legion last Sunday to hear the story of the four chaplains, and I had never heard it before, and I thought it was a very moving and touching story, and I thought everybody should hear it, so I invited them to come here today and tell the story of the four chaplains. We have with us today Tom Hawk, who is the commander of Post 118 in Amherst, Sally Cornwell, which is Ed Cornwell's wife, who's president of the Ladies Auxiliary, and Jack McNaughton, who is one of our trustees. So without any further ado, if you guys want to come up to the podium and tell the story of the four chaplains.
Good morning.
Good morning. Morning.
The following is the story of the four chaplains. February 3rd, 1943. The freighter rose and fell sluggishly at her pier, with the dark waves slapping at her sides. The garish New England night was full of shadows and the sound of winches, screeching cranes, and the shuffling cadence of weary troops. One of the black shadows hung over the stern of the freighter, almost obliterating her name, the Dorchester. The vessel was old and small, and only the emergency of total war had forced her transformation into a troop ship. On this night, in mid-January 1943, she was being loaded with troops at the Massachusetts port, her destination hidden in an envelope of secret orders. Soldiers, 904 men in all, tramped through the companionway down into the bowels of the ship. Naked light bulbs showed them their quarters, bunks hastily built into the hold, 4 tiers high, 6 meager feet of space per man. Among their number walked 4 chaplains. At 0600 hours the next morning, the Dorchester cast off her lines and headed out to sea. The men grew tense with fear of the unknown moments ahead. and rumors as to their destination flew across the ship. Only the sky pilot knew they were headed for Greenland. At this period of World War II, Allied shipping, under constant attack by wolf packs of Nazi U-boats, were being sunk almost as fast as they could be built. All available destroyers were sent to guard the carriers and battle wagons pounding the Imperial Japanese islands in the far Pacific and the vital convoys to the United Kingdom. For such as the lumbering Dorchester, there were only a few Coast Guard cutters and make-do craft for escort. Day became night and night became day as the little convoy followed the course to Greenland. As the month of January ran out, the four chaplains bunked, talked, and worked together, comforting the sick, reassuring the troubled ones, and joined in the singing and daily banter. They were admired by all because while they were men of God, they were, first of all, real men. A mysterious sense of danger was prevalent throughout the ship. On the evening of the second day of the new month, one of the three escorts Coast Guard cutters blinked a message across the water. "We are being followed by a submarine." The PA system crackled with orders, and the crew jumped to their guns. The Dorchester's engine whined and labored to gain speed, but could push the ungainly freighter along at only 10 knots. The convoy stopped briefly at St. John's, Newfoundland, and then moved on northeastward through the strange whiteness of an Arctic night. On the next morning, February 3rd, the ship's bells sounded 1 o'clock. They never sounded again. A minute later, a torpedo smashed into the Dorchester well below the waterline amidship. The torpedo exploded with all its terrific fury in the engine room. Bursting steam lines fatally scalded the engineers and oilers with cruel abandon. The sea rushed into the hull like a tidal wave, drowning 100 men. Stark panic whipped across the ship, blotting out in an instant the so newly acquired training in discipline and survival. Men cursed bitterly and others wept as they struggled feverishly with boats and lines. Others rushed below deck in search of forgotten life belts, never to return. Sally Cornwell will continue.
Through this scene of terror moved a few strong men, purposeful, calm, and seemingly unafraid. Among these were the four chaplains, rushing everywhere about the ship, in the terror-ridden interior and on the crazily tilted deck, giving some men the strength to live and others the courage to die. Suddenly, the ship shivered, and men everywhere cried out, "She's going down. We'll be sucked under." The chaplains sensed the threat. "Over the side, men, make it fast," they cried. The wind tore the words from their lips. "Get away from the ship before it pulls you down." Men looked at the four chaplains with new wonder, seeking a sign, some symbol to carry with them into the valley of death. One man, more boy than man, made his way to the group at the rail. "Padre, I've lost my jacket. I can't swim. But before he could finish, one of the chaplains took off his own life jacket and put it around the boy's shoulders. "Take this," he said. "I won't need it." The soldier tied the jacket strings, mounted the rail, and dropped into the sea, now almost level with the deck. The other chaplains followed without hesitation, with the full realization that there could be no surviving in the icy sea without their life jackets.
During the last dying moments of the freighter, four chaplains, their crosses on their collars, and one with the tablets of law on his, stood with arms linked in devoted prayer as the vessel bow came up and then slid under the raging surface. Somewhere off in the seething seas, four other men escaped the jaws of death, supported by the chaplains' life jackets. Of the 904 men aboard the Dorchester, only 209 survived. Many of the survivors owe their lives and the spiritual courage and supreme sacrifice to the four chaplains, who have passed on a legacy of brotherhood to all men. Aboard the Dorchester were four U.S. chaplains, Protestant, Catholic, and Jewish, who each in his own way answered the call to serve God and man. With arms symbolically of all common bond, the four chaplains remained praying on deck until it sank into the black waters of everlasting glory. The four chaplains were Reverend George L. Fox, Methodist, Dr. Alexander Good, Jewish rabbi, Reverend Clark V. Poling, Reformed Dutch, Father John P. Washington, Catholic priest. Greater love has no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Thank you very much for helping us honor the 4 chaplains today. We'd like to thank the county commissioners and the council members and everyone who was here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. And this is across the whole country. This is celebrated every year, and the story is told. And I had never heard it, and I'm glad we had a chance so more people could hear it today.
The month of February is set aside for the 4 chaplains, not only with our American Legion group, but with all veterans organizations. Thank you.
Thank you again, Tom. Teresa?
Under Resolutions Number 1, Job and Family Services Bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Blair.
Aye.
Investments.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Blair.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Blair.
Aye.
Transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Blair.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
No advances, no repayments, requisitions.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Blair.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Travel expenses.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Blair.
Aye.
Bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Blair.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Under the Commissioners, authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
Mr. Cortez?
Thank you, Madam President. I do have a couple personnel issues with regard to Job and Family Services and at the Revolving Door Golden Acres. I also wish to continue our dialogue with regard to labor relations issues in our union contract with United Steelworkers of America. We were not able to finish those conversations on Tuesday when we went into executive session because it was a short duration, and when we came out, there was appointments that the board had to make. All those subjects are permissible under the Sunshine Law, so I would ask that we convene into an executive session at the conclusion of our regular board meeting to do so today. Thank you.
Approve and waive the reading of the same for Lorain County Board of Commissioners meeting minutes for February 5th, 2009.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Ms. Blair.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Job and Family, approve and enter in 4D purchase of service contracts between Child Support and Prosecutor, Clerk of Courts, and Domestic Relations Court Juvenile Division, effective January 1st, 2009 through December 31st, 2009, and authorize the Director to execute on behalf of the Board of Prosecutors' approval as to form. For the Prosecutor's Office, non-federal matching funds is $237,454.50. Federal matching is $460,941.09 for a total of $698,395.59. Clerk of Courts, non-federal, is $11,485.20. Federal matching is $22,294.80 for a total of $33,780. Domestic Relations Court Magistrate, non-federal, is $170,595. Federal is $331,155 for a total of $501,750. And Domestic Relations Juvenile, non-federal matching is $85,346.80. Federal is $165,673.20 for a total of $251,020.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Kowski.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla.
Aye.
Ms. Blair.
Aye.
Under Workforce Development, approve and enter into contract with National Association of College Stores, Oberlin, for vendor training with incumbent worker
Bless you.
funds. The amount requested is $27,944 with employee contribution of $14,874 and incumbent worker training funds in the amount of $13,070. Authorized County Administrator to execute on behalf of the Board of Prosecutors' approval as to form.
So moved.
I'll second.
And I believe the company wants to say
We do have a representatives here if you'd like to hear from how this is going. Then I'd like to have a comment or two about the
Absolutely.
program afterwards. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners, members of the
Morning.
board. We have with us today the National Association of College Stores, Sheila Giano, the Chief Human Resources Officer, and Karen Mayfield, also from Human Resources, both of whom are heading up the effort. NACS is requesting a sum of $13,000 in grant funds from Project 10 to do three key aspects of training for their operations: customer and member services training, leadership training, and project management. I'll now turn things over to Sheila to let her speak on exactly how the training is going to benefit the company. Sheila?
Thank you. Good morning, and I first wanted to thank you on behalf of National Association of College Stores and its subsidiaries, NACS Corp. In partnership, for this tremendous grant. NACS has been committed to Lorain County for 60 years when it relocated here from Chicago. And this, as the story goes, to be halfway between its members on the west and east coast. So we employ 190 employees in Lorain County. 77% of those employees also reside in Lorain County. We are looking to use this money, as Dan said, to focus on further development in areas customer service, project management, and leadership training. The company has a pretty rich history. It really started out in 1923 with 24 store managers who recognized that there was a need for people to share information and knowledge in order to be competitive. Today, NACS represents 3,100 college stores and 1,000 suppliers to the college store industry, and it's their leading resource and advocate. NACS Corp provides wholesale distribution to the industry, and in most instances, one-stop shopping for work-related items. And Partnership provides discount shipping for 16,500 small and medium-sized businesses in the area. We have been able to grow and thrive basically through exceptional customer service and really responding to our customers' needs and wants. But we recognize as an organization that our only real asset is our employees. So really want to thank you all for allowing us to invest further in them.
Wonderful. Great
Thank
program.
you.
You've been there forever, real quiet company out there. Route 10 in Overland Road.
Yeah, I was actually surprised to discover the number of employees you had out there when Don brought the application, and I said, what? Because I had been driving by there and didn't realize the large number of employees that were out there. Commissioners, I had an opportunity yesterday to discuss the outcomes of Project 10 funds with two companies that have been the benefactors of prior approvals. And in conclusion, what they told me was that they never would have been able to do this training that they had been doing had we not had this program that was locally developed and is unique throughout the state. And they would not have been able to position themselves to come out of these tough economic times with increased resources and new abilities. One of them was an engineering firm that, while things were a little bit slow, decided to go into other lines of business and be positioned to expand their business when the economy picks up. And they've been taking this opportunity to train their employees, and they would not have had the resources to do that before. And they were very, very complimentary. Both these companies were complimentary of the program and of the commissioner's initiatives there. Also, yesterday we met with representatives from the states. One of them was Lisa Pat McDaniels, and we discussed Project 10 and the needs to continue these type of local initiatives and to ensure that while the federal government is passing money through the state and we're expecting all new initiatives out of the WIA reauthorization, that we don't get lost in the shuffle, because our program, while large to us, is just a small dot on the radar screen, but we need this program here and it works. And we continue to make sure that the folks at the state come down here and get a first-hand look at what we're doing. And that was their second trip here. I think we impressed them every time they were here. And they were also very, very surprised and delighted what was going on the fifth floor here in Lorain County with regard to the growth partnership and the many activities that the board has locally done that seem to be achieving success. And so I just wanted to pass that along to you, and Project 10 is one of those big ones. Thank you.
Agreed.
Any further comment?
No, other than I wanted to thank Karen and Dan for walking us through this process. Don, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Don does a great job.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Nothing further? Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Under the engineer, approve and enter an LPA agreement with ODOT to upgrade Overland Avenue from North Ridge Road to West 30th Street. And authorize county engineer to execute on behalf of the Board of Prosecutors approval as to form.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
It's a much-needed project in the city of Lorain. It's like going down railroad tracks down Overland Avenue, so I'm sure all the residents that travel that road on a daily basis will be happy to hear that we're moving forward with this project.
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Cortez, County Administrator?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioners, unfortunately, in fact, I did inform you all by email the other morning, our community has lost another great leader, friend, companion, and all-around concerned person for the welfare of the folks that live here in Lorain County. And I'd like to ask that we take a moment of silence for the passing of Kevin Martin. He was the CEO of Leary Memorial Hospital for a number of years, but he was also a community and civic leader and expended much of his personal time and resources to improving our community. Thank you, Commissioners, and with that, I have no further comments. I know we have a long agenda this morning, even after the meeting. Thank you.
Mr. Ennis, Assistant County Prosecutor?
I have no report this morning, Commissioners.
Commissioners report.
Well, it was a very busy week, but I think the highlight had to have been the economic between the Alliance and Team Lorain County this past Friday. It was a great cooperation between those two entities, and Matt McQuaid from the Ohio Business Development was our last speaker. He was very good, and he had sent a letter to Steve Morey, who is the president of Team Lorain County, and want to read you what he had written. The Groundhog Day breakfast was an outstanding event. Collaboration and communication are two key components to economic development success, and the Groundhog Day breakfast exemplified Lorain County's understanding of that. I have attended numerous regional and local events like this in the past. The quality of the program from an informational standpoint, along with the number of people in attendance, made the Groundhog Day one of the best I've experienced. So kudos to Team Lorain County and also to the Alliance. Betty shared her day with Team Lorain County, and I think it was a great success. The only other comment I had is don't forget your sweetie on Saturday. Come down to our dog kennel and pick up a puppy. And do you have any comments that you'd like to make? Maybe say why you came today, or
I came today just because I
want to get out of school?
No.
No.
I just wanted to experience it because this is actually my first time doing it.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for coming today, Bobby.
You're welcome.
Thanks for helping me with the dog. Okay, that's my report.
Yeah, again, kudos to the Alliance and TLC. I was a few minutes late, Commissioner Blair. Made sure everyone knew that, but it
You
was a very nice event.
deserved that.
Also, Kevin Martin, as Jim had said, true loss for the community. Kevin was involved everywhere, did a good job making EMH what they are today. Also, we have here today Larry Long from our County Commissioners Association of Ohio, Executive Director, so we meet with him later today and talk about all kinds of issues in the state of Ohio and the stimulus package. And we're not going to quite make the 10 o'clock phone call today for the stimulus discussion with the governor's office, but I hope Ron gets out of here and gets that started. Okay? No, you might as well go over. We're going to be here a while, so if you and Karen can handle that and fill us in on what the issues are, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. End of my report,
That's
Commissioner.
it. Thank you, Ted. Thank you for coming, Larry. It's nice to see you. And Hal has given times to view the meeting that Lori and Ted referred to, Team Lorain County and the Alliance. If you'd like to view it on the Community College channel, you can see it on Saturday the 14th, either at 2 or 9 p.m., and on the following Monday or Wednesday, the 16th or the 18th at 9 p.m., both evenings. And I have what I consider some very good news that followed the Team Lorain County and the Alliance meeting. We had a meeting, several of us met with the Northern Ohio Rail Coalition, which is represented here today by Mayor Jean Anderson from Vermillion, Patrick Petrigan, who is the chairperson of that group, and Brian McCann, who is their consultant. We have both been working on commuter rail for a long time, and we, the commissioners, have an earmark from Congresswoman Betty Sutton for $343,000, and they have been out in the community raising money. So we decided that now was a good time for us to join forces. And so in fact, that's what we have agreed to do. I have a press release this morning, and they have submitted a memorandum of understanding, which is what we have agreed to enter into, and I have submitted that memorandum of understanding to our Assistant Prosecutor, Jerry Innes, for his review. Since he didn't get it until yesterday, he has not been able to accomplish that, but he will, in fact, do that. So under my report at this time, I invite Patrick or Mayor or Brian, any or three of you, to come to the microphone and offer your comments about this new partnership, which we're going to call the West Shore Commuter Rail Task Force. We haven't been that long, Patrick.
Just seems like forever, right, Pat?
Good morning, Commissioners, and thank you for this opportunity. Today, we're pleased to announce the formation of the West Shore Commuter Rail Task Force, consisting of the Lorain County Commissioners, Lorain County Community Alliance, All Aboard Ohio, and ourselves, the Northern Ohio Commuter Rail Coalition, to support the West Shore Commuter Rail Project, connecting Cleveland with Sandusky. We are interested in action, and to this effect, we have already raised about half of the local match. We will engage in the process of raising the remainder of the local match of $70,000 to obtain the federal earmark obtained by Congress member Betty Sutton. We understand that the alternatives analysis is expected to have a budget hopefully not to exceed $414,000, of which 80% is federal funds and 20% is from local sources. That alone is not enough. We need the rail options fully explored and detailed in a plan that we can use for getting trains running people to work, play, and shop, not yet another study to sit on the shelf and gather dust. Our desire is that detailed budgets and plans in the alternatives analysis will be completed somewhere around the Groundhog Day of 2010. While we advocate a new paradigm for transportation funding, the public-private partnership, we understand that in order for projects to have the possibility of federal funding, the alternatives analysis is required. We consider this a financial premium for the access to federal monies that may be available. The task force will assist all of its allies to capture the information necessary for private support for the rail's alternatives, as well as any future support from voters of Northern Ohio. Once we've have the information, especially for the rail alternatives, we'll then begin the process for a public dialogue of how to fund passenger rail in a regional service context. We acknowledge and thank our members, including but not limited to the Lake Erie Shores and Islands representing Erie County, Bob Campana, Jack Mattia, Larry Betcher, the cities along the corridor, especially Vermillion and Avon, for their efforts to finally move this project into action. It is primarily because of the visionaries of Vermillion, especially Mayor Gene Anderson, and the business and civic leaders on the steering committee, that we've been able to raise money and obtain pledges all along the corridor. We are taking action because action is needed. We cannot wait for economic development to occur. This rail project will create economic development, and it will not happen by itself. Combined with the county commissioners, the mayors on the corridor, we expect to complete this local match by the time the contract is awarded. For this, we pledge our continued efforts, not only in the neighborhood meetings throughout the region, but in Columbus and in Washington, D.C. And I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Patrick. We certainly appreciate your joining with us. And I'd like to also say that we're pretty well aware of what needs to be done. We've had meetings of the stakeholders along this corridor for the past 2 years, so it's been a lot of buy-in. And I think that the public is interested in this, so we need to get our act together. So we certainly thank you for being on board.
Sure.
Mayor, did you wish to say anything? Well, politicians are people too.
Yes, once again, it is wonderful to be in your chambers. Your meetings are oh so friendly. I love it. And I want to say thank you to you, Betty. You have been out in front of this issue for a very long time. I'm just kind of picking up and carrying on the torch that you have been carrying, and we really do thank you for that a lot. I mean that sincerely. And what I hope we will do now as we join our public and private partnerships is keep this project, this initiative on the front lines. I know in the city of Vermillion, there's rarely a day goes by that I don't get asked by a resident or someone who is anxious to see this project move forward, how are we doing with our commuter rail? So I would like that to be on the lips of every resident throughout Lorain County, Erie County, and Cuyahoga County as we begin to really move the project forward, get some action, get some funding, and begin transporting our passengers on the commuter rail. So I thank you commissioners, for inviting us this morning, and everyone who has put their time, effort, and energy into this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Anderson. Think that. Brian, did you want to talk? That concludes my report, Madam Chair. I do have copies of the news release.
I did receive from Agent John P. Slater on behalf of the petitioners to withdraw the 442.631 acres annexation from Amherst Township to the village of South Amherst.
Madam Chair, to Jerry, where does this leave us? I think there was also an injunction in court
Well, they did not proceed with that because it was
withdrawn.
So at this point, it is
It's-
just withdrawn.
It doesn't exist now.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
That injunction actually, I think, was for the first petition, which was withdrawn.
No.
They were gonna file, and then they refiled, and this is the second one, isn't it? This is the second time?
This is the second petition that's been
The second
filed.
petition, but only the first injunction they were gonna do, which they didn't do, so. A restraining order. Board correspondence,
I move the reading be waived.
Second?
discussion. Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Public comment?
Anybody from the public wishing to speak? Nancy? You have good news to tell us about soil and water today, I hope?
Oh, yes.
The Monday morning meeting, how
The
was
Monday,
it?
I'm sorry.
How was the Monday morning meeting?
It was well, thank you. We had Sue Morano and Terry Booth was present. It was very well received. Thank you for asking. Our office sits on county ground on Russia Road, and the county commissioners own that property. And as far as phase 2 and with the pipe outreach for phase 2, we would like to install a rain garden on the property, and we're wanting your permission if we can, please. I have started some of the paperwork, but I didn't move forward any further or present you with any paperwork or any plans because I need your preliminary approval. We want to do something at least nothing larger than 10 by 12, and that size may adjust slightly smaller, we're not sure yet. This would provide education purposes, enhancing for phase 2 and being in compliance. This will also be in cooperation with the watershed coordinator, then that way he can use it as demonstrations along with our office through the Lorain County pipe, plus also show the community what rain gardens can do within the county, and I'm hoping I can get your permission to move forward.
Works for me. I think it's a great idea to slow down the runoff.
Okay, I'm in the process of securing funding, so I don't want to encroach on that yet. I want to make sure that there is funding for this. Is there anything
You
you
have my
need from me
support.
besides a formal letter?
I have no objection. Mr. Cortez?
I see no barriers to proceeding forward. So I would just like, some kind of letter proposal that we can put on file, and then later on, if there's any issues with liabilities and things like that, we'll just sort through them. But I don't see, it's a small project.
Thank you.
I think it's a great idea.
Okay, thank you
Thanks,
very
Nancy.
much.
Thanks, Nancy.
Anybody else?
Take a whole handful, Brian.
Seeing none, I move that we go into executive session as outlined by the county administrator.
Second?
Ms. Kowski?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Thursday mornings at 9:30 at the Lorain County Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and as always, you are invited to attend.